allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First off is our VHS student report.
Okay, well, good evening, everybody. I am Ms. Cowan. I'm the president of Student Council,
I'm Cooper Appalachia. I'm the treasurer of Student Council.
and we're just going to be telling you what's going on at Brennan today. All right, so first thing, this school year we started our new Hawk Time. We are working on community building and our Hawk traits, which Mr. Stevens announced to us today. They're have respect, act responsibly, work together, and keep safe. And it's just something, we're trying something new this year. All the teachers in our school got to pick the students that they wanted to be able to, work closer with students that they know. And we're really just trying to build the community in our school. The second thing is the Feminist Club is selling ribbons and bracelets for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And all the money that goes to the club, they are sending it to a foundation to help breast cancer patients, which is really cool. This Saturday, we had a robotics competition, which went well. Of course, we always have our BMAC and tutoring clubs going on for the school to help students with whatever they need help with. Our fall play was announced. We are doing Little Women this year. So that's very exciting. And then for juniors and seniors, we have college reps coming in for the next couple weeks, couple months to just let us know what's going on and help students figure out where they need to be.
All right, so fall sports are coming to an end soon. So it's going to be a lot of tournaments and stuff. So boys and girls cross country, they have the regionals race over at Shepherd, which is about 2 hours away, and that's on Friday. Football team beat Swartz Creek 35-19 on Friday, so it was a good win. And that picture is of our seniors on senior night. Boys soccer, they just won our district championship against Goodrich. Congratulations to them. Our swim meet, we had a swim meet versus Kersey and Lake Fenton. That's what that picture is right there. That was our first time beating them in 6 years. So we're getting there. Girls volleyball recently had their pink out game and their senior night. And the tennis team has a team bonding event after school at Topgolf tomorrow. And our banquet is on Thursday. And Pompon has a banquet coming up.
Student council current happenings. We always have a lot going on. So Cooper's going to tell you a little bit about our aftermath homecoming.
So after homecoming, student council usually enters into a week of reflection to, just talk about what went well and what we want to improve on for the upcoming homecomings, because we want to make it better every year. So that picture right there is our homecoming king and queen, and then that picture to the right, that is one of our walls of decorations at the dance.
This year we have, right now we have new committees in student council. So we are focusing on fundraising for our council. We have picked a new charity, which you can see on the right is Disaster Relief at Work. So we're going to be raising money, doing can drives, everything like that for this organization. They make, they take resources and send to disaster victims like for hurricanes, which is really helpful because they've already sent some for past hurricanes, like in Florida and everything. So with everything that's going on right now, it's a big thing that we want to be a part of and that we can support. So that's really great. We're also doing new service projects. So our main focus right now is connection with the elementary students. So student council will be going to elementary school, and they will be picking one class for us this year, and we're gonna just focus on bonding with that one class, those one students, to just let them know that, you know, high schoolers aren't as big and scary as they think, and, you know, it's gonna be a really fun experience. We're gonna try to do crafts and, you know, reading and everything like that to get them excited about just having older people that they can rely on. And then we are also focusing on leadership within our own council and building a family environment in our own council, and just working on our leadership skills, which takes us to our fall camp that we're doing in November. Ms. Sulis will answer any questions that you guys have about that, but pretty much the focus is our council is going to go to Camp Kopenaconic, and we're going to spend just 2 days there and, like I said, work on our leadership skills and just do fun council bonding things to better ourselves and our leadership skills to help our community and our school. And then our vice president, who could unfortunately not be here tonight, she is working on our blood drive for this year, and so she's getting everything all set with that. We sent out stuff to parents and students and put flyers up in classrooms, let them know about that. So yeah, that's all we have going on.
All right, next up is superintendent report with Carly Stone.
I love how you said that's all we have going on.
I know.
They're quite busy folks over there, very nice. Well, good evening, everybody. It's lovely to have such a large audience, and we have lots to celebrate today. And I'd first like to invite Mr. Dan Stevens, who will be here honoring our varsity soccer team. I know a little bit about them this year. Pretty impressive. And at this time, I'd like to pass the baton to Principal Dan Stevens.
All right. Our soccer team, many of them are here today, along with some of our coaches as well. And Jesse Johnson, our athletic director, apologizes for not being here tonight, but he did give me something that he wanted to read about our soccer team and about their great accomplishments for this year. So, to the Board of Education, at this time, the athletic department would like to present Coach Sean Lovelace and the varsity boys soccer team captains for the season. The athletic department believes that these men deserve to be recognized and acknowledged for their superb season thus far, and it's not over. At this time, we would like to read a few of the feats this team has accomplished. The Brandon Varsity Boys Soccer Team won their first Flint Metro League title since 2017, and they did it in convincing fashion, going 10-0-1, so undefeated, through the league while having a goal differential of 49 goals for Brandon against only 6 goals for their opponents. This team also recorded an incredible 12 shutouts in the season. This is also the first time since the Flint Metro League expanded to 12 teams that any team from any school has gone undefeated throughout the league schedule. As an encore, this team just won their first district title since 2015, culminating in an incredible 1-0 win over Goodrich in the district title game just this past Thursday. The team will now travel to Goodrich on Wednesday, that's this Wednesday, to compete in regionals against Linden High School. We would like to thank and congratulate Coach Lovelace, who was also named Flint Metro League Coach of the Year, and these seniors for all their hard work, dedication, and memories made during this unbelievable season. We wish the best of luck to you in regionals, and congratulations to the soccer team over here. Coach, would you like to say anything?
Sure. Just out to practice, or Coach Crawford's gonna have us running sprints. But we got 3 fine young gentlemen over here. These are my captains, Brandon Mendoza, Nolan Wood in the middle, and our goalkeeper, Ben Meisner, on the outside. These guys, I'm not gonna spoil it all yet because the season's young, but there's many awesome accolades headed their way. They've been recognized not only by the league, but also the district thus far, and I'm sure there's going to be more to come. They've been working hard since middle of June, pretty much nonstop. They had these goals in mind at the beginning, to be Metro League champions, district champions. I was not aware they'd do it in such fine fashion, but never doubted them for a second. But the best part about this season is not so much that we're winning, but that this group of young men are the same young men as when they weren't winning. And I have to give them the highest accolades. They're just fantastic people. They make the school look good, they make the community look good, and they're great to work with. I'd also like to thank the administration and the school board for all your support in the past. It makes the job a lot easier. So thank you much, and I hope we can make it out Wednesday to see these guys win. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been really exciting to watch the videos, and the sportsmanship of this team has been just unparalleled, along with their dedication, and we're so proud of them.
All right, boys, if you need to hit the field, now's the time. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, guys.
Outstanding students and amazing coach. I would like to also introduce everyone here tonight. Gosh, what a lucky night to come out to meet Phoebe. Phoebe is here from Campus Canines, and Christy Green, who is the Executive Director of Campus Canines, and also is a breeder out of Highlands. She's here this evening to introduce us to Phoebe. I've spoken of Campus Canines a few times in several meetings, and so we have a little video to show the board, and for those of you that happen to be here in the audience, and then Christy will take it from there.
Therapy dogs help calm down students in school.
Whenever you're having a bad day, someone's having a bad day, and you see him walking down the hallway, it's big little dog smile, his tongue sticking out. It's not only really cute, but it makes you smile, which makes your day just a little bit better. How do you do it? It's just like having a ball of sunshine go around. Because anytime you walk into a room, everyone just has a smile on their face. It just makes everyone so much happy.
Every day overhearing kids say that they're so excited and Louis is the reason he's coming to school, and he puts the biggest smile on everyone's face. So
You just have a big fluff of sunshine that won't judge you.
Or just sad or whatever, just seeing him makes me smile.
He's a joy to be around. He's so kind and so sweet.
I would describe him as either the Hail Mary that you need when you've exhausted everything and you can't figure out how are we going to help this child or this situation. I bet Louis could help. And he's also kind of the icing on the cake. He is a connector for the entire community. So he helps our students, obviously. He's super impactful on our staff. And even when we have parents coming in, they connect with him. This is the dog I hear so much about every day. He brings out the best in the kids too. So he's really made a huge impact. I couldn't name anybody who doesn't know who he is, or doesn't know what he does, or doesn't have something positive or funny to share about him. He's in the fabric of our school community now. So it was great.
Every time I watch that video, it makes me a little bit teary-eyed because we have touched a lot of lives with our dogs, and we know a lot of kids' stories. So we're excited to work with this school district. Phoebe is getting close to being in school. She is just turned 12 months old on October 12th, so she's just a year old, and she'll be going to the middle school, and she will be living with Carly Stone. She gets the honor of having her in her home. But a little bit about us, we started doing this as a for-profit business, and we realized we weren't having quite the success that we wanted to have as far as like touching more schools and more kids. So we started a nonprofit. So this way we are able to hopefully get dogs into schools. And a lot of schools have reached out to us and they have budget issues, or they can't come up with the funding, or they're having fundraising issues. And so our goal is to be able to get a dog in every school that wants a dog. We've seen students that didn't want to go to school come to school. We have seen students that wouldn't walk that are now walking, students that wouldn't read. And so it's just been really a positive effect that these dogs have on not only students but on staff as well. So, yeah. Did we touch on anything else? I know I only have a few minutes. I could talk all night about our dogs. We just did a Puppies and Pilates fundraiser. So part of what we're doing now is we're working with our districts, and we've been working with Brandon District to raise money with you guys to cover the cost of training and taking care of these dogs. If you guys are interested, check out our website. We have an Instagram page and a Facebook page, and we realized it takes a village. This is a huge program, and it takes everybody to make it happen. So thank you for having us here tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And yeah, so we'll do a quick walk by. If anybody wants to pet her, you're welcome to pet her.
And she's going to start her training in the middle school tomorrow.
She is. She's going to the middle school for the first time tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Christy. Christy's been exceptionally generous with her time and resources, and she shared with me today that the funds they were able to raise over the weekend, which was really quite significant, are allocated to our Brandon dogs, and she's just championing our district all the way to ensure that every school in our district within the next 2 years will have their own dog. And so just a big shout out to Christy and her team, and putting up with me, because I'm very excited to provide this to our students in our school district here over the next few months. So thank you, Christy. Safe drive home.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. See you tomorrow. Brian, I don't know how you follow all that, but you're on project update.
One time it was the chicken sandwiches. I'll try my best. Good evening. So I'm here with this exciting news as well. So we're going full steam to get the summer 2025 projects out for bids. In a minute, I want to introduce Christy Bigelow from Walgett. She'll be taking the drawings when we complete them and putting them out for bids and all that solicitation. So I'll turn it over to her in a second. So, but I did want to just remind the board what's going out for bids. And there's been a couple of little developments that during the design phase that I wanted to bring to your attention as well. So, next slide. Oh, I got it. Yay. Cool. Okay, so we've divided the projects into two bid packages. One's bid package 6 and the other's bid package 7. So bid package 6, just as a reminder, has some items at the high school, so parking lot replacement, the soccer field improvements, and then the security separation doors for inside this building so we can cordon off the building when there's after-hour events and so forth to limit people traversing through. This is just a reminder for the parking lot, so we're going to be including everything in the blue and the red, but we're not doing the big parking lot down here below the street. doing your transportation, the maintenance lot, the soccer field, the gymnasium area, the front and around the back. So almost all the parking lot will be addressed except for the other lot down below. The soccer field, we're making a lot of improvements. We're going to be replacing the bleachers with ADA compliant bleachers, putting in some concrete around the ticket booth, and then also a path to the bleachers so someone with a disability does not have to traverse over the grass. We are also adding some concrete at the team bench area on the east side of the field, replacing some chain link fencing, putting up some protective netting behind the goals to ground the soccer balls, doing some renovation of the concession building itself, and then we're going to be adding some campus wayfinding signage and sports kiosk signage, and I've got some pictures of what that means in a second. Again, the concession building will be reshingling the outside, replacing the doors, and then there's some minor renovations inside the building, painting, toilet fixtures, things of that nature. One of the things we're going to be doing is adding a second serving window facing the baseball field. So that'll be cut into the wall so you can serve out of both sides of the concession building. That's another part of that project. The wayfinding signage, we working with Carly and administrators on how to best traverse the sites, because some of the signage that you have is outdated, doesn't really apply anymore to how parents go, where student drop-off is, etc. So we've been working on that, and then this is a plan showing where we're locating new signage around the site, and then what they will say. And this is also at the middle school. We're still refining some of how we're bringing people in off of M15 and so forth. This is what the new signs will look like with the color scheme, and then how they will say with arrows pointing which way or the other way. Getting them both to just administrative areas, the Performing Arts Center, and also the sports areas for parking, for deliveries, for student drop-off. So we've got about 18 signs or so that we'll be placing around the campus. So going back to this picture here, you see all the white ones with the letters are where the wayfinding signs will be, and the ones that say K, those are where we're going to be putting some sports kiosks, because wayfinding is good to get into a parking lot, but then it's like, okay, where do I go then for a soccer game or for a football game? So we're also going to be adding some kiosks like this here, identifying where the gymnasium is, where the football stadium is, softball is. So when you get into the parking lot, then you'll be able to see, okay, that's where I'm supposed to go down. So these will be placed all around both at the middle school and the high school campus. And there's just another schematic. This will be the blue mesh, like similar to what's at the football stadium, with the lettering on the mesh, so it'll kind of tie into the existing football stadium, both the block color and as well as the graphics of the stadium. The other part of it, package 6, is the remodeling of the concession building at Harvey Swanson. This one's a little bit more involved in the high school. There's a lot of interior that we have to do to bring that back up to speed. It's been kind of overlooked over the past few years, so a lot of interior remodeling that we have to do. Outside's looking pretty good. It is a block building, not like the building at the high school is more of a metal panel sided building. This is actually concrete block. It's in very good shape on the outside. We are going to reshingle it, replace the exterior door, and then if you remember, one of the things we talked about, we wanted to add ADA restrooms down at this level. So the plan was to add the restrooms right on the side of the building here where the grass was. When we got into the design and investigation, that's actually the septic field for the current concession building. So it would be kind of a nightmare to build there, cost prohibitive. So what we decided to do was switch gears. Right now you come out, the bleachers are over here. You go up these stairs that are falling apart, and then up here at attached to Harvey Swanson is 2 bathrooms that are currently up there. There's three fixtures in the female side, there's a fixture and 3 urinals in the men's side. So what we're going to be doing is replacing all this deteriorated ramp, and you can see, if you can see with the picture, the wooden fence there, retaining wall, is actually falling over. So we're gonna be replacing that retaining wall and then redoing all this stairs. So this will actually be a ramp that will go up, to the bathrooms. And then we just need to put a little bit of money into the bathroom instead of creating a new one. So we feel that this is more economical and we'll wind up with more plumbing fixtures for men and for women for games. So that's the direction that we're heading for the bathrooms. Bid package 7 is the middle school parking lot, and then the rooftop components for the chiller that we had talked about a couple of meetings ago. So again, everything you see in yellow, in red, and blue on this map will be replaced as part of the middle school project. So really, it's everything for those will be replaced. I'd like to bring up Christy now to talk about the bid and award schedule. We're scheduled to hand over the documents to her at the end of this month. So I'll turn over to Christy.
I don't have puppies and I don't have pretty pictures, but I have dates. So, it's nice to meet everyone and see everyone. Your school district is kind of special to me because I grew up next door in Parkston, so it's like coming home when I get to come here. We've got family and friends all over this area, so it's kind of fun. So Brian and his team do plan on having the construction documents to us by October 31st. Once we have those in hand, our team will put together work scopes, we'll review the drawings, review for constructability, put together those scopes so that we can then issue those documents for bids. This date of November 13th is the worst case scenario. Brian sent me a bootleg copy of the document, so we've already started kind of preliminary work on getting this together. I'm trying to watch and be mindful of November 15th, and then we have Thanksgiving. So we want to make sure our bidders have as much time as possible so that they can prepare quality bids. Because we don't have time and we don't want to go back and have to value engineer anything. We want to have the best documents possible. So I really do plan to push that. Our bids are scheduled to be due December 5th. We will do post-bid interviews with all of the low bidders. If we have anybody that's close, we may interview the second and third bidders with a goal to get the best pricing with the most qualified bidder for the school district. So once we do that, we'll sit down again, review all of the post-bid interviews, put together an award recommendation, and present it to the school. Again, no public, no pictures, dates. But this is the last year of projects for you guys for this current bond program, so I'm really excited to finish this strong. I think we have a really good team to make sure that it goes smooth, because this is the end, and this is one of the most important phases, because it's never the prettiest parts, it's never the fancy and big to-dos, but it's the nuts and bolts that kind of put everything in place, so the finishing touches, and I'm super excited to be a part of the projects.
So we're shooting to award on the December 16th meeting. We would like to have a facility committee meeting around the 10th, 11th, or 12th to basically go through the bids in detail. If there is a bidder that has to be eliminated or that we're not recommending, so we can explain that to the facility committee, and then bring that recommendation fully to the 16th meeting. So right before the holiday, we can have all the contracts officially awarded. And Christy works all during the break, making all the contracts and getting everything signed and sealed. So right after the first of the year, we hit the ground running with submittals and all of our, to start getting materials ordered so we can be on time and ready for June. As you see, the magnitude of the parking lots is incredible. So we want to make sure that we get right out of the gate as soon as possible in June. A lot of people will, kind of like with Harvey Swanson, will make a lot of people angry as we're ripping up the parking lots and so forth. But it's the magnitude of both of the parking lots is huge. That's why we split it up into two pieces, because I think it's probably too much for one company to handle. But somebody might sharpen their pencil and want, because they're right close together. It's a perfect situation for contractors to work that closely instead of driving 4 miles away to get to the other site or something like that. So who knows, maybe we'll get some good looks on it.
And another consideration, because I know we will get questions on being able to start early, so I don't know as a board and administration, if there's any of the lots that could get started early. If we have a winter like last winter, they're gonna be ready to go, and they're gonna wanna get started, so that's something we will also discuss to see which lots, if any, can get started early.
Thank you for the update, we appreciate it, it's nice meeting you.
Thank you very much.
All right, next up is public comments and questions on the agenda business. Excuse me, thank you. So it looks like these two comments are not on agenda business. We'll save them till the end. We have another time for public comments. So we need to move forward with the rest of the agenda. Yeah. Oh, we got approval of consent agenda.
Move the Brandon Board of Education to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Herb?
Yes.
Hillary?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Jody?
Yes. Okay. Next up is information discussion items, BHS Student Council Field Trip.
Those are nice and patient.
Hello, everyone. We're back again. Student Council, always busy. They say we're not only doing so much, but we're always doing a lot. We're here to get 2 overnight trips approved. We'd like to get our camp, which is November 11th and 12th, approved. At the camp, the kids will spend a lot of time with leadership activities. They'll learn strategies for problem solving, strategies for teamwork, and of course, we have a little fun and team bonding along the way. Last year we had a bonfire at night. It was a blast. Their creativity skills on storytelling are improving. And then our second trip that we'd like to have approved is November 22nd to the 24th. We will be traveling to Grand Rapids for our annual state conference. At the state conference, the students meet with other students from across the state. There's about 2,500 students that will be there. It is a good time for the kids because they get an opportunity to meet other leaders. They get to sit in on small mini sessions of leadership activities, charity activities, service projects, and other things, spirit weeks, things that other schools do. And they learn a lot in that short weekend about what other schools are doing. We're kind of hoping this year maybe we'll get to present at the states. We have been presenting at districts for the past few years. We haven't decided on our presentation this year, but hopefully we will also be presenting at regionals in January. The past few years, our student council has received the award for school excellence, and we are applying for that award. They are applying for that award again. We have in the past received the service project award, and we will also be reapplying for that as well as the Star School award. And we do receive the Star School award every year as well for all of our work within our community and our district. So, we'd very much like for your approval. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Did you want to add anything about this to sway them one way?
All I can say is all of the activities we do as a council, like going to states and our Camp Cook is very helpful with how our council works together, and it's a lot of fun. So,
thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Silas. We appreciate it.
Thanks for staying.
thank you.
All right, next up is education report with Koi Sewer.
Right, and friends.
Friends.
So, I'll pass these out to you, and I will be joined by my friends, so all the principals are going to
data, and we'll share the whole, getting people all together. So, thanks, guys. Thank you. Okay. So, it's time to revisit our scores from last year and to see our spring scores and go through the whole presentation together. I'm going to have my principal friends join me. We're going to get started with their own data when we get to their screen. All of us together. Gang is here. So as we get started, we're here just to share our 24 state achievement data that we got last spring.
I feel weird.
I'm sorry. We'll be sharing our locals and some growth data. We'll all be sharing points of pride for all of our buildings in the district, and then also kind of explain some of our plans for growth and action steps forward from here on out. So we get started always with high school. So Dan, you want to come this way? Would you like me to click you, or do you want to click you?
Okay.
I'll show you. All right.
All right.
Oh, and Megan's here too. I'm sorry, Megan. So Dan and Megan will get started with high school.
I can move it next time. All right, I'll try not to be too long, but at the high school, we tested a wide variety of different things. We do NWEA, which is 9th and 10th grade, PSAT 9 for 9th grade, PSAT 10 for 10th grade, SAT, Word Keys, and M-STEP for 11th grade. So we do a lot of testing at Brandon High School. We're very proud with some of our scores, but we also realize that we have a long way to go in some areas too, because we constantly want to improve. So what you're seeing here is, I'm in everybody's way. So what you're seeing here is the first two columns is our NWEA. This is for English, that first one, and it's math, the second one. The blue is Brandon High School, the red is the state of Michigan, and the green is Oakland County. So we like to see how we compare to everybody around us, and as you can see overall, we are typically right around where everybody else is, a little higher in some areas, a little lower in some areas, but right around the averages, which is good. There's nothing really there that completely stands out as being problematic or really great, which tells us a lot of things. When you really dig into this data, then you can see where our real true weak spots are and where our true strengths are.
This is the SAT, PSAT data.
Okay, so NWA is coming later. Sorry about that. So PSAT 9, PSAT 10, SAT. And I do want to, Mrs. Kozlowski here in a minute will probably point these out, but in the areas of science and social studies, we continue at Brandon High School to be above both the state and the county averages. So congratulations, we do have some math and some science people sitting here in the crowd today. So congratulations. I know that we have 4 schools to go, so I'll be rather quick. This is our NWA growth, and you're going to see this chart for every school, and I want to explain this chart just a little bit because there is some things that are a little bit that you have to understand. So where that diamond is where the NWEA in their algorithm tells us that they would like us to be, or that's our goal to meet, is that diamond area. So that is the spot that we're striving for, the spot we want to be at, the spot that we're going to attempt to achieve it to that diamond. Now the blue part, which is the graph part, that's actually where we ended up. So you can see 3 of the 4 spots. We're pretty excited. We exceeded where the algorithm said that we need to end up, so we're pretty proud of it. We're pretty proud of that. And even though you see that math is not completely where that diamond is, Mrs. Kozlowski is going to share with us some really good things about math, specifically in that grade, here in a few minutes. So that's where our data is in NWEA. Mrs. Kozlowski, what am I missing as far as just showing them the data? Am I missing anything? Mrs. Kozlowski is going to go a little deeper then into this and what does this really mean and the things that really kind of stand out in the positives for us when it comes to our points of pride.
So for this first slide here, this data is from the PSAT, SAT data, so these are kind of the bright spots in the data. For our math scores,
for all grades, 9, 10, and 11, we were at or above the state average. So 9th grade was 1% above the state average at 34% proficient. 10th grade was tied with the state average at 27% proficient, and then 11th grade was 3% above that state average at 29% proficient. So the percent proficient was either at or above the state of Michigan. Social studies was 5.3 above that state average at 44.9% proficient. Science was a whopping 11.9% above the state average for 49.4% proficient. And then 11th grade ELA, so that's the SAT. The reading was at an average proficiency of 51% proficient, which is average with the state. And then for the student growth piece, so that's the second slide that Mr. Stevens was talking about. This is our NWA data. So not measuring proficiency, but the growth and the improvements that students are making over the course of the year. For reading, for our 9th grade students, we exceeded the RIT, which is that range of where they would expect them to grow, by 1. And then for our 10th grade students, we exceeded the norm by an RIT of 0.5. And then in math, our 9th grade students exceeded it by 0.5 as well. So we, in most categories, exceeded the growth expectation for our students. And then as far as areas of growth action plans for ELA, we've got a few different things going on that, for this year. We're going to, for 6 through 12, increase our focus on reading instruction and try and do some more joint work and vertical aligning with our reading instruction for ELA. So as part of that, our middle school teachers have been participating, or started participating in a professional development through open schools centered around reading instruction called Times Like These. At the high school, they've been working with Megan Cortland last year, and they're going to continue that work this year on book clubs. We started book clubs a couple years ago with our 11th grade and saw really positive results, and so we've been working to include that down into our 9th, 10th, and up into our 12th grade as well, to try and grow on that. And there's been a lot of overlap with the UDL initiatives in the district. I mentioned increased vertical alignment, so we're all kind of a cohesive team and know what we're doing. So we're going to start having some joint sessions this year between the middle school and high school ELA departments, and just in those half-day PDs as a department, and then also overall in subject areas outside of just ELA through the UDL work that we've been doing. I kind of already mentioned that's the last bullet there with the book club. So just a deeper implementation of those book clubs. We've teachers work very hard. I'm so proud of blown away by how much work and how dedicated they were last year. They read so much. I tried to help in the reading, and I wish I could have helped more. But screened and read so many books to try and really be thoughtful around what those engaging and updated book choices would be that are still connected with the essential questions and themes that are part of our curriculum. So they've done the work in terms of screening all those books and creating those units for those book choices. And then now this year we're working on actually developing those book club units and reading instruction. Thank you. Middle school.
So mine will be a little bit shorter because it's very similar to what they said, and he already explained how the data works, so that's awesome. And we are doing a lot of work with him 6 through 12 as well. If I could, starting with this slide, if I could just draw your eyes to the blue and the red. As you start from left to right, it goes from 6th to 8th grade, and it crosses ELA math and then social studies and science in 8th grade. But what I want you to notice is that how that gap is kind of closing between the height of the blue, or the blue is passing the red. And that's what we want, right? We want to see that change between the state and our scores closing and us overtake it, theoretically. Even though I know I speak for all educators when I say we're shooting at a moving target all the time, and that target is changing, but we want that reference point to be there. So, and I have some highlights of it as well as you continue. So this is the NWEA, and we have compared, it's one cohort. I added the other one, I guess, I don't know if you have it on the, I had it over here. And so this is looking at just last year. I had it, because you told me to tell the data story, and I'll just say it verbally. Because I said, why is 7th grade like not even there? Like, this is where we wanted to be and we're not even showing up. And it's because there was no growth. But what I did is I looked at, I took a peek at 2024 fall data. We already had that. And if you were to display it, you would see that all of these gaps are also closing, which is what, and you would want to see that, of course. And there are some things to talk about positively there for the middle school. My points of pride. I'll start with the two pictures. If you don't know, just something we're excited about. Mr. Laux has shown that we are starting to grow lettuce. And we have 2 hydroponic systems that we were able to get with the help of food services. And so that is something his classes are taking part in. They're very, there's little sprouts, and there's going to be 50 pounds of lettuce. I think he said once it gets going, it'll be pretty consistent. So that's going to be exciting. And then the other picture there is our TIES group. We started a peer-to-peer group, and they are working with a lot of special education students. This was one of their first main events we did. We colored and painted pumpkins, and so that was, I got to be a part of that. And so the proficiency levels, back to the boring stuff. We were at or above the state and county in 7th grade math, 8th grade English, language, arts, social studies, and science. And for the NWEA, math was meeting or exceeding that RIT, their growth goal, that diamond, as Megan said, in both 6th and 8th. What else would I add there? Late start work. I know there's another slide, I think, isn't there? Yes. So these are action plans, areas of growth. I'll spare you a lot of details. It's very similar in math and ELA. We're working together. So we're at different places. We're talking about different books, but those book clubs, those the communication collaboration for ELA, it's happening, and Megan is running that. I'm working with all of the math teachers, 6 through 12, and we are working on scope and sequence. We have great discussions on resources and strategies. So it's all really good, powerful stuff. We had a chance. Open Schools had co-teaching support come in, and they worked with our gen ed and special ed teachers that are co-teaching, and they had some time to build some great skills with them as well. So that's it. Yes.
Okay, it's my turn. So the colors are back. Like the other principals have explained, it shows our data compared to the state and county. In elementary school for MSTEP, that looks like 3rd, 4th, and 5th doing ELA and math, and then 5th adding on social studies and science. We definitely have some work to do, but a celebration, if we were to take last year's data compared to this year's data, we have shown a lot of growth in math, which was really, if you remember from last year, what our focus was last year. So we were seeing that growth in the area of math, where we were really focused with all of our professional learning last year. So this is looking at NWEA data that all of our K through 5 students take, and as you can see, if we're looking at where that diamond goal was, that in most grade levels, almost every area, we have surpassed their projected growth. So just our points of pride is really that in MSTEP, that 5th grade outperformed the state within ELA. And then in NWEA, 5th grade met their projected growth, while kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd exceeded that growth. We love to see those blue bars go way past those diamonds. And then in math, the other grade, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th all exceed their projected growth. And I think Ms. Ransford and I are mixed up a bit because we're trying to stay really consistent with our areas of focus. So I think we're going to skip this and go to Oakwood, and then we'll do our growth and action plan together.
Well, hello.
So if you want to take a moment, same thing, just to kind of take a look at Oakwood's achievement data. So Oakwood's in blue. You have 3rd grade ELA in math, and then it goes 4th grade ELA in math, 5th grade, and then the last two, it's 5th grade social studies, and then 5th grade science. So you can look at blue is Oakwood, red is the state, and green is the county. If you look at our NWEA growth data, so we had some wonderful growth last year, and our next slide is going to kind of do the comparison, but I think a lot of times just the pictures really give you a caption of where we are at. So for MSTEP, our 3rd through 4th grade, it outperformed the state within ELA and math, and 4th and 5th grade ELA surpassed the county. 5th grade ELA, math, science, and social studies increased in achievement growth from 2023 to 2024. And then 4th grade math increased from 23 to 24 within their achievement growth as well. Looking at our NWEA, so for ELA, our 2nd through 4th grades met projected growth, and then our kindergarten, which was wonderful to see, exceeded projected growth. And then math, 1st and 2nd grade met projected growth, and kindergarten, 3rd and 4th exceeded projected growth. And these points of prides and graphs are also shared with staff. They were shared with them on Friday to just start to take a peek and see what their performance is up to. So for Jessica and I, very similar between Oakwood and Harvey for our areas of growth and our action plans. Do you want to start with math? So for math, we're talking about data meetings that we'll be having, pedagogy all around within instruction, best teaching practice, a focus on principal labs, math recovery training, a math tutoring program, and really focusing this year on tiered supports. What's really good instruction, all right around our late start PD once per month.
For ELA, we are continuing our work with the Teachers College this year, so we've already had 4 days. They're here right now, so we have our consultants coming in from New York to work with our K-5 teachers in the area of ELA. That's been super beneficial, and then Ms. Ransford and I are able to get in the classroom following those visits. So thank you for the addition of our deans as well, because that has been a game changer. So following those visits, we are then able to go in the classroom and do coaching around what that learning was as well. So we're in it right along with the teachers, which has been really, really awesome. And again, just a lot of teacher collaboration. We have teachers being trained in Orton Gillingham, which is primarily for our Tier 3 special education students. Those data meetings are pushing in for coaching in Tier 1, and again, continuing around those tiers in our monthly PDs.
And so for one thing we're really excited about, just to add on to the deans, that in-house collaboration that we can do together within our buildings is just so powerful. And we're continuing to just explore and grow that throughout the year. For PBIS, together we have talked about just a continued increase in engagement and motivation just for cultural shifts, and that includes all stakeholders. Just very intentional coaching, our professional learning communities, continuing with action steps within PBIS, a lot of parent involvement, and strong focus on positive prevention strategies, and hoping to reach that even outside the building throughout the school community.
All right, so looking at the district as a whole, after we looked at each individual building, it's a little bit harder to see. You've got your packet. I'm not sure it's quite easier to see here. If you'd like a bigger version, I can get you a bigger copy. But you should probably have access to the slideshow as well if you want to look at it later. But this is what all of those blue, red, and green graphs look like when you compile them all together. And the shapes at the bottom kind of indicate the areas in which we are outscoring the state when you look at the rhombus shape, and we are outscoring the state and county where you see the circles indicated. This table is a little bit counterintuitive because we're usually looking for higher scores, but this one we are looking at lower because we're looking at the number of our students that score on the NWEA significantly behind grade level, so we'd obviously want that number to be smaller. And I see that the one, I highlighted some in green and the other, I don't know if this version is updated. That's my fault. But I did highlight some areas because there were certain areas, I went back and looked at the data, that in 23-24, in many of our grade level areas, our fall initial scores are much lower this year than they were last year and then the year before. So that kind of indicates the gap is closing because there's not as much distance to cover as far as lowering between the fall and the spring. So what we're looking for is for the fall percentages to be lower and then again lower in the spring after we have them. So that's what we looked like last year. And in the version you'll see the green I highlighted will indicate the areas in which our fall scores are lower than they were in the previous year and the year before that. Which was exciting to see. So overall district points of pride, our high school and middle school team mentioned that this year we're taking advantage of those late starts to get our 6-12 teachers together in each and every one of our core content areas and beyond, which has been really nice to have some ability to get them in the same room. It's a little bit tricky because their start times are a little bit different, but so far it's really been working out. They're able to get together and have some really rich conversations, all of them not separated in their buildings. So trying to break down some of those silos and get people together to talk about the work that they're doing. We did outperform, as you saw in that other graph, some of the areas in the state and some of the areas in the county. District or across the whole county is still low in 6th grade, so that's something that we're continuing to look at. NWEA growth, when measured, we're going to do it 3 times again this year, 3 mandatory times this year. The individual data meetings they mentioned are going to happen again. We are collaboratively working on math across all grade levels as well. K-12 Learning Lab for principals is going to focus on math, and formative assessment is another big thing we're doing. And then, I don't know, PBIS. I feel like this wasn't updated to what the last one was, but I will, like I said, share the other one there with you. You'll have the newest version of that. So I'm sorry about that. These little pictures too. I don't know what happened. But if you can take a look at the other version that will be shared, then it's right here.
Correct
It's on
here,
this one. Yeah, and I can't see this one with my glasses even, so
I'm
sorry. But you'll see all the information that I was going to share in this version right here. All right, do you have any questions for our team? Or me?
No, thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Okay, next up is finance report with Jan Cecil.
Yeah. Hi, good evening. Tonight we have our annual audit results presentation. Chris Kasab and Lauren Slava from Plant Moran are here to do the presentation. And everybody has a copy of this in their folders.
Well, thank you for having us here today. I'm Chris Kasab, and with me here today is Lauren Solano, and we're here to present the results of the fiscal year 2024 audit. So included in your board packet today, you should have 3 documents. The first is a basic financial statement audit report. The second is a federal audit report, and the third is a letter to the board. The basic financial statement audit report is one that's required for every school district in the state of Michigan. All districts are required to be audited on an annual basis. And this is our audit of the district's funds. That would include funds like the general fund, food service fund, capital projects fund. The focus of our slide and the results today will really focus on the general fund, which is the district's primary operating fund. Also included in that report is a footnote that describes our compliance work that we do over the district's expenditures over bond dollars. So as was discussed here today, district's spending a lot of money on various capital improvements. There's certain compliance requirements that come with that, mainly that those dollars need to be spent in compliance with the ballot language. And we review a sample of those expenditures and happy to report that we did not have any findings there. Overall, our audit is an unmodified or a clean opinion, which is the highest form of assurance that we can issue as auditors. The second report is the federal audit report. So for any school district that receives over $750,000 of federal funding, those dollars are required to be audited. We don't audit every federal fund. We audit those on a rotational basis. And this year we audited the Education Stabilization Fund, also known as ESSER, which is about $1.2 million of federal expenditures this year. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Lastly, you have the letter to the board. Really what's included in there is some required post-audit communication items, as well as some informational items. As a firm, we spend a lot of time kind of pulling together some information that's hopefully helpful to the board. Really gives an overview of the funding landscape of the state of Michigan for fiscal 24 and fiscal 25, and even looks beyond that. So we hope that you read that and find that information helpful.
Chris, they don't have hard copies of that, do you?
No, it was in their board
Those are on the board.
packets.
Oh, it was in the electronic,
Yep.
okay. I was gonna say, well, maybe I was supposed to make hard copies.
No, they're all,
Okay.
they got last week.
Okay,
All
it's electronic,
good.
yeah.
All right, I will kick it over to Lauren to cover some highlights of the general fund.
Okay, so as Chris Kassan mentioned, we're going to mainly focus on the general fund for these next few slides. So this first graph shows the general fund revenue broken out by the different sources in comparison from fiscal year 24 to fiscal year 2023. So that first bucket shows federal revenue, which was $2.4 million at year end, which encompasses revenue from grants such as the Title I grants, which include Title I, Title II, and Title IV, ESSER funding, and then the IDEA, which is a special education grant. That second category shows the local revenue, which was $3.4 million, which is primarily made up of property taxes. That third category, which is the largest section, is approximately $24.5 million, which is made up of the foundation allowance, which is per pupil funding from the state of Michigan, as well as state categorical revenue. So those are grants given to the district from the state. Then next you'll see the inter-district funding for $1.4 million, which is primarily made up of PA-18 funding from the state, which is funding used to support special education and related services. So overall, there is approximately $4.3 million increase in general fund revenue in comparison to 2023.
So one thing to note here is every school district in the state of Michigan has been receiving some additional funding to essentially offset the retirement costs. It's referred to as this UAL. There's different funding sources, but essentially there's 147C, 147C2. Essentially what it is money that comes in from the state that really goes right back out to the retirement system. And these are dollars that come in that the district has no ability to do anything else with. So what you'll see is it really inflates revenue, but also expenditures. Doesn't impact fund balance at all because it's revenues that equal expenditures. But we do highlight that at the bottom there. You'll see last year the district received $3.2 million in funding, and this year was $2.3 million. So if you just look at that, a decrease of about $1 million, you kind of lay that into the overall increase in funding to 4.3. You can see that the funding year over year is not necessarily apples to apples because the state does kick in some incremental dollars for the retirement system.
So this next graph covers general fund expenditures by function. So out of the total 31.4 million expenditures, those are primarily made up of the following categories. So starting with instructional expenditures, which was 16.8 million, which is made up of teachers' salary and wages and benefits, substitute teachers, and then those expenditures that are used in the classroom. That second category is support services. So you can see it's close to $1 million increase from 2023. These are expenditures that relate to counselor salaries, psychologists, social workers, as well as their benefits, and then any support services and materials. Next is athletics and community services, which had a slight increase from 2023. And then the following category is debt service and capital outlay, which had a small decrease from 2023.
you look at these categories, instruction makes up approximately 54% of total general fund expenditures, which goes to show that those are those expenditures benefiting the classroom. This next graph shows the general fund budget to actual for the statement of revenue, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. So you'll see there's a similar under budget allocation between revenue and expenditures. And so this is primarily due to the way that the district has budgeted for state and federal grants. So specifically 31A and GSRP for state grants, and then for federal funding, like those grants that I mentioned before, IDEA and Title I. So the full amount for these grants are budgeted for, but if they are not fully spent, then you'll see a similar decrease in the revenue and expenditures, which is what you're seeing here. So basically, any unspent funds will show as less revenue and less expenditures than what was budgeted. And then I'd also like to point out the additional difference in the revenue variance relates to MIPSR's 147A funding, which the district did not know about until the August state aid payment, so that came in later.
Yeah, so the final state aid payment comes in August of each year, and sometimes there's some additional funding that comes in last minute that districts don't really know about. And so had that been known, it would have been budgeted for.
And then the last piece that I'd like to point out is you'll see the $0 net change in fund balance, which is due to the fact that the district transfers excess fund balance to debt funds to help pay for debt service related to the installment purchase agreement and the energy bond, which the district has done in this year. So that's essentially a transfer of unrestricted general fund dollars, which go to the debt service fund.
So this next slide really looks at the non-recurring COVID-19 funds that have been received, and we're just showing two of the most recent grants, the ESSER 3 and the ESSER 3 state equalization grants. In total, over the last 4 years, the district has received about $3.5 million of these COVID relief dollars. So really a significant amount, and about 3.2 of that has been spent as of June 30, 2024. So you'll see about 170,000 left to be spent in fiscal year 25, and I'm assuming those dollars have been spent already as they were required to be spent by September 30 of this year. But as you know, these are non-recurring dollars, not expected to recur. So once these dollars are exhausted, you kind of be back to business as usual in terms of the federal funding, which are child nutrition, Title I, some of the special ed dollars, things of that nature. So Lauren kind of alluded to this, but as the funding changes from year to year, revenue can swing up or down. What this is really showing is that the district has really maintained a good, steady allocation of dollars that benefit the classroom. So these are the percentage of instructional expenditures as a percentage of total within the general fund. So you'll see the district has kind of hovered around 53, 54, 55% over the last several years. You'll see in fiscal 23, that was 56%. That was somewhat abnormally high because of those retirement dollars that I mentioned that got kicked in from the state. There was about $1 million of extra funding last year that did not come in this year. And those generally get recorded as instructional expenditures because a big portion of that is for teacher retirement, and those teacher wages are included as instructional expenditures. But really this is including things like teacher salaries, wages, classroom supplies, classroom books and materials, classroom equipment and furniture. So really all those dollars that are really benefiting the students and going directly to the classroom. So you like to see that this is remaining steady given the changing funding landscape. So the ever important general fund balance. So we're looking at a trend over the last 10 years. You'll see back in 2014 it was just under $3 million, and for fiscal 24 the district ended at about $4.3 million. And so a couple different ways to look at fund balance. The one common metric that's looked at by the state and really the Michigan school business officials is what is your fund balance as a percentage of expenditures? And so for fiscal '24, that came in at 13.6%. Michigan school business officials would recommend about a 15% fund balance. The state of Michigan has what's referred to as early warning legislation. They would look at, they would call a district in financial distress if that went below 5%. So nowhere close to that, but you know, it's still a healthy fund balance, but like to see districts generally at that 15%. Another way to look at this is, you know, if you didn't receive any additional dollars, how long would that fund balance last you? So using a 365-day calendar, that general fund would get you about 50 days of operating expenditures. On a 180-day school year, that would give you about 25%, or 25 days of operating expenses. And the other thing to note here, you know, we've coded the fund balance into two different categories. The orange bar is the unassigned fund balance. That's about $2.3 million. That's the portion of the fund balance that's really unrestricted and can be used at the district's discretion. $2 million of the fund balance has been assigned for capital projects. So that was a board resolution that was adopted several years ago. That cannot be modified or used. It's essentially earmarked for capital improvements until the district or until the board decides otherwise.
So this next graph shows the change in student enrollment over a 10-year period. So there has been a steady decrease in the student enrollment from 2013 to 2023 and 2024. So it's an approximate 888 students, which if you multiply that amount by this current fiscal year foundation allowance, which was $9,608, that's a revenue decrease of approximately $8.5 million. So if you think about this in terms of the total revenue in comparison to the general fund dollars, which is about $31.8 million, this decline is approximately 26% of the current year revenue.
So Lauren touched on the foundation allowance. Again, this is the state funding that comes in for every school district. It varies by school district, but it's the per pupil amount that you get for every student. And so you can see back in 2014, that was about $7,000 per student. For fiscal year 24, it was $9,600 per student. For fiscal 25, that foundation allowance has remained the same. There's nothing you can do about this. This is really a state mandated number. You have no control over this amount. Maybe the one thing to note for fiscal 25, while the foundation allowance has remained the same, the state has really offset that, so to speak, by offering a 5.7% reduction to retirement dollars. So that will translate to a slight foundation allowance increase by way of reduced retirement expenses. That is all we have for you today.
Thank you. Okay, next up is our action items. Approval of BHS student council field trips.
I'll move the Brandon Board of Education to approve the BHS Student Council field trip as presented.
Support. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Herb,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jeff, yes, Joe.
Yes. Approval of annual financial audit.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve the annual financial audit as presented.
Support. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jody,
Yes.
Jane,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Herb,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jeff, yes.
Approval of new bus purchase.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve the purchase of 4 new 77-passenger buses and 1 new lift bus at a total cost of $801,003 as presented.
Support. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Herb,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jody,
Yes.
Approval of OSCBA bylaws.
I'll move the Brandon Board of Education approve the OSCBA bylaws as presented.
Support. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Herb,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jody,
Yes.
All right. Now for citizens input. I have 2 people on here. I'll just read real quick our participation guidelines, public comment guidelines. The Brandon Board of Education recognizes the value of public comments and the importance of expressing yourselves to us on district matters. When addressing the board, please recognize yourself by stating your name. Each statement shall be limited to 3 minutes. You can only speak once. The statement shall be directed at the board only. Generally, the board will not respond in public comments during the meeting. Speakers are asked to express themselves in a civil manner with due respect for the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by your comments. To ensure due process and respect of individual rights, the district maintains a formal process for handling complaints against individuals. A problem involving an individual or specific incident is best handled through administrative channels. Such matters should be reduced to writing and sent to the superintendent or the board president. While it is not our intent to stifle public comment, speakers should be aware that if your statements violate the rights of others under the law of defamation or invasion of privacy, you may be held legally responsible. If you are unsure of the legal ramifications of what you're about to say, we urge you to consult first with your legal advisor. The board wants to hear what people want to say. We expect each speaker will model for our students and others in the audience on how one can respectfully disagree with others' views or voice an opinion or ask questions. First is Mr. Warren.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Good to see everybody again. For the ones who don't know who I am, I'm Derek Warren. I've been out in y'all district about 16 years, single father of 4 kids, raised all 4 of them on my own, no help. My oldest is graduated from Brandon, 3rd year at Ferris State because of his daddy. My second one, I hate to say this, I had to pull her out of here because she was called racial slurs. Nobody did anything about it. We already talked about this. She graduated, still good kid, but now they started with my son now. People don't have to like me, y'all don't, but I'm going to respect it, seriously, because I'm the same skin color in the dark as everybody else. Now I'm starting to feel like this is a racial matter because I don't bother y'all. Every 15 board meetings that I went to, I said I just want y'all to leave me alone. Not y'all, just the people that are messing with me and my family and my kids. And they know who they are. Does everybody know what a procedural safeguard is? Clearly some people don't because they don't go by the rules. The day I got removed from this board meeting by the police is because my son's rights were not taken care of right away. The procedural safeguard in an IEP meeting is my son's rights. He's entitled to be at every IEP meeting, unless the parent doesn't want him there. So, the special education director cut the conference short because I wouldn't remove my son. So I get up to walk away, and me and the principal get into it. And I didn't say nothing bad. Stop staring at me like you're hard in front of all these people. I'm a very blunt person. I apologize, y'all. This is just me. I'm from Georgia. I ain't from Michigan. I'm a blunt person. That's all I said. So then I get a no trespassing order against me because I, intimidated staff member. But it's okay for my kids to be called the N-word. And it's he said, she said. That's it. I got witnesses. And matter of fact, y'all, I have recordings. I got document after document. And all I asked y'all, I should have been at 15 board meetings. I should have been at 1. Y'all have me and my family feeling like we're crazy. I feel like that I'm letting my kids down because they come to me crying. And none of y'all are helping me. I got principals telling me you're the most disrespectful parent I've ever met, but they expect me to bite my tongue and kiss butt? No, you're not gonna talk to me that way. So then they issue me a no trespassing because incidences that happen at board meetings, at IEP meetings. I got witnesses that's cussed principals out. This Servants principal. And they didn't get a no trespassing order against them. Y'all embarrassed me in front of my family when I was in that board meeting. But nobody's saying anything. They just make Mr. Warren look like the bad guy.
Thank you,
But
Mr. Warren.
I just want justice to be served, that's all.
Thank
And everybody that the principal, superintendent, the special education director, they're all gone now. People act like this is McDonald's. These
Thank
are
you, Mr.
high-paying
Warren.
jobs. Y'all gotta hold it together if y'all want people to come to y'all schools.
All right, next is Heather.
And nobody's still gonna listen to help. But I'm gonna get the justice.
Good evening. My name is Heather Gantz, and I actually, part of my question that I wanted to ask tonight has already been answered by the presentation of the 2025 summer bond projects. So my question is there any plan to repaint the road lines on the road into the high school? They're getting very difficult to see in the dark mornings, normally with reflective paint being used. And there's a lot of turning traffic coming out of the bus area merging into the high school egress or ingress lanes. It would be really helpful to have better paint on the lines. And is there going to be anything done before the 2025 summer bond projects? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next would be, you're going to be moving to closed session.
Move the Brandon Board of Education enter closed session for the purpose of negotiation.
Support. Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Herb. Yes. Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jody.
Yes. All right. Thank you.